don't really know how to process all of the things that I'm going through. So I record videos to like track my frame of mind and what I think and feel at any given time from the past year. But I don't know what else to do. I don't know. Part of me is just like, my kids are gonna know. They're gonna know the difference between what they're told and what is true. And they're going to know if something doesn't feel right. It has to be. I'm sure. I taught my kids everything for the first 4 to 7 years of their lives. Sorry. It's rattling. But anyway, I taught them for the first few years of their lives, and so I'm like, I know they know how to handle their feelings. I know they know how to express themselves, feel their feelings, and all that. So, what's this? Alright. Anyway, I feel like I'm not going to have to explain everything to them because I feel like they're going to get it. The things that Cody has said, first of all, I want to just print out his emails. The things that he has emailed me since we had no contact until December, probably. From February to December of 2023, we had no contact. And then I think it was December that we started emailing, and that's our main form of communication. But his emails are atrocious. They're horrendous. He'll say things like, I can't believe what you did, meaning in the car accident. I don't want you around the children. I don't feel safe around you. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I crashed my car when I was having a mental breakdown. I called it psychosis, but apparently the last doctor said it's not psychosis. He says it's just dissociation, because psychosis would mean you hear or see things that aren't real, and I don't have that. I just meant psychosis like I was out of my mind, and I thought I was in a movie. But apparently that's derealization and depersonalization, which is part of dissociation. Anyway, long story short, he completely blames me for that mental breakdown and says he's afraid of me, which I don't believe. I think he's saying that. I'm like, what would you be afraid of? I'm gonna crash my car again? No. I crashed my car when I was having a mental breakdown, when I was being followed, when I got a text message from my sister saying, I'm in Boise too, and I was like, I'm not in Boise, I'm in Salt Lake. And then I looked at the road sign and it said Boise, and I was like, oh, I'm not okay. And so I pulled over right then, right after I got the text from my sister, because I was like, I didn't know I was headed to Boise. I was so out of it. And I pull over, apparently at an Air Force base, and there was a confrontation, and I crashed. Not on purpose, obviously. I had our suitcases in the trunk. I had our puppy in the front seat. I had my children in their car seats in the back. Zoe's chest strap failed on her car seat, and Capri's car seat came unbuckled from the vehicle. She stayed strapped in. Her body and the car seat hit the passenger seat. She was sitting here. Zoe was in the middle. Max was behind me in the Ford Fusion. Capri broke her legs because she slammed into the back of the seat. That was a Ford Fusion problem. They recalled the seatbelts. We had one broken seatbelt, and we had used the tethers on it because the seatbelt broke. Ford Fusion 2013. Look if there was a seatbelt recall, and that seatbelt failed in a crash. And Capri got hurt. And Zoe's chest strap, I'm not sure if she unbuckled herself or if the chest strap failed. It was an older model, and she flew out and hit the windshield. So I don't know what happened there. She was buckled in. Her car seat did stay buckled into the car. Capri's came unbuckled from the car, and she passenger seat. So, anyway, how that is blamed on me. And he keeps saying, I don't care about intent. I care about results or whatever. Like, I care about what happened. And I'm just like, okay. I think most human beings on the planet would not go there if they saw someone in an active crisis who was fleeing for her life. I was afraid that my husband was trying to kill me. And that was the second time in my life. I thought he was going to kill me back when he almost killed himself, and I thought he was going to take me and Capri out with him in 2017. It was June, a month before Zoe was born. He had a mental breakdown. I watched him almost kill himself. It was terrifying. And the day that I crashed our car, when I was trying to get help, when I thought I was going to Utah, but I ended up in Boise. I did not want to crash my vehicle. I'm not allowed to talk about this on my YouTube channel because my case is open. That's why I don't really make videos about it, because I'm like, well, I don't want to accidentally say something and accidentally upload the wrong video and like get in trouble with my people. But it should be closed soon. And I can talk about it, I think. Pretty sure. In my counseling, we work on me not trying to predict and prevent Cody's reactions because I'm like, if I say or do this, he's going to say or do that. And it's true. He's taken me back to court. He sued me for past child support from the year that he had them when I didn't have a job. He made 6 figures. He got the entire paycheck minus $1,500 a month. So he got like $8,000 a month. I got $1,500, and he's suing me for $1,800 for the year in back pay, as if he needs that. Anyway, I don't know why I went on that tangent. Oh yeah, he's taking me back to court for that. He's taking me back. He wants my phone calls supervised, which is absolutely ridiculous. But my counselor's like, we're working on me not like changing my behavior to prevent him doing and saying certain things, because I'd be like, if I say this, I don't want that to happen. And he's like, you can't live like that. He's still controlling you that way. And I'm just like, he's gonna take me to court. It's really expensive. But his court stuff is just a sham. Like, I don't know if I'm going to end up representing myself or if God's going to provide me with money at some point. I think when my house eventually sells, I'll have enough money, because I should have $150,000 when the house sells, because it's paid off and it's estimated at $325,000 to $350,000. So I'm expecting, like, if I get $150,000 after everything is said and done, I can live off of that for a long time. Because I paid off the mortgage when I was 35. I'm turning 38 this year. I'm very proud of myself for that. That's a tangent, putting some positivity into this negative video. See, I don't, okay, so I'm like, I don't want my kids to have to deal with all this shit. Like, I don't want, I've got a crease in my eyebrows. I am stressed. This is so negative and so horrible. And I'm just like, why is he doing this? But I'm like, and my eyes twitching now? I don't, I want to be clear and concise, and I want to let this go. And so I'm thinking, in 10, 15 years, am I going to even remember this? Because I want to let it go and have it disappear from my mind. So I'm kind of like, well, let me get it all on the video now, and then I'll be like, oh, go play that video if you want to find out. Like a time capsule, kind of, where you can pull it back up, because I don't want to carry this. But I don't want to forget either. I don't want to forget, SOS, read my emails from Cody. Oh, they're really bad. They show perfectly how he treats me, how he talks to me, how he has prevented me from seeing the kids, how even after we finalized our divorce, his lawyer won't sign the paperwork of what we agreed on and what was vocally said in court. They requested the transcripts to write it down, look, we already agreed to this in court. And he won't sign it, so they submitted it to the court, and they said the other lawyer won't sign it. And so then we have another court date. We're going back to court. Again, I can't afford that. It's $500 $400 an hour. It's like $452 an hour, something like that. And including drive time, and it's an hour away. So just 1 hour plus 2 hours of driving, that's $1,500 just for an hour, and it usually takes at least 2 or 3. So I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't know why he doesn't give me custody. And he's like, CPS made me sign that paper. And I'm like, no, they fucking didn't. No, they didn't. Any man in his right mind could say, my wife is not a threat. Our children are okay. This blah, 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 blah. But no, he chose to say, I'm afraid of her and blah, blah, blah. And they forced me to sign it. I'm like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. No one forced you to do anything. No one forced you to get a restraining order. No one forced you to blah, blah, blah. Like, no one forced him to do anything. He, of his own free will, filed for divorce, filed for a restraining order immediately after I got in a car accident. I got in a car accident on the 4th, which was a Friday, I think, or a Saturday. And he filed everything on that Monday, which I think was like the 8th. He did all of that on his own. He transferred their schools on that Monday. Took them to Blackfoot. Moved out. All of this stuff. None of the kids were in the hospital for more than, like, everybody was released before 24 hours. Nobody stayed 24 hours. And the next 2 days, moved schools, moved him out of the house, filed a restraining order, filed for divorce, made a CPS report. He chose to do, like, he chose to do that. He chose to do that. Like, the other part of me is just like, do I just, like, let it go and let my children think whatever he tells them? Capri was saying how she was so confused and she didn't understand why the judge and the lawyers were keeping us from her, or were keeping them from me, or keeping me from them, or something. And she was just like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, why are they doing this? And I eventually was just like, Capri, your dad is the one who chose that. And he was pissed, and he tried to tell me about it in emails, and I ended up in the psychiatric unit again because it was a little stressful and I couldn't cope with it. But I had to say it. Like, I had to be like, Capri, it's confusing because you're thinking that lawyers and a judge are keeping me from you. It's your father. Your dad is doing this. And then he's like, it's not me, it's CPS. No, it's not. It's not. It is 100% not. It's Cody Adams choosing to keep me from my children. And he filed the paperwork with CPS. With CPS. And he filed a restraining order of his own free will. No one made him file a restraining order. And furthermore, I'm pretty sure the restraining order was before the CPS report. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. Come on. Like, you cannot say they forced you if you, like, it's ridiculous. Like, no. And he was already divorcing me anyway, which he'd held over my head since August. And he kept saying, I'm going to divorce you if this. I'm going to divorce you if that. Oh, I don't think you're going to change. I don't think you're going to do this and that. And I'm just like, I am working. I'm trying. He wasn't. He just kept blaming me and saying everything was my fault. And then he started saying I was abusive. And I'm just like, where is this coming from? I was raising children for the entire time. And I asked to leave the home, and he said no. He said he did not want it. He said he did not want to lower his standard of living. He did not want to dip into the $100,000 we had saved, although we had no mortgage. We had 4 vehicles, no debt, 6-figure income, $100,000 saved after doing remodeling on the house from the house that we sold in Washington. He would not let me have a nanny. I wanted 15 hours at $15 an hour, which is $15,000 a year. I asked for $15,000, and I asked to go back to school, which is like $5,000 a semester. But he said no. And then he says he wasn't controlling, and that he had to divorce me for whatever reason. It's not true. But then I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I mean, I care because it's my reputation, it's my name, it's me. Like, he's lying, and I don't like that, obviously. But then I'm just like, I don't need to prove a point. I don't need to, like, do anything like I want to. There's so much snow. I just go back and forth between I don't need to say anything and I'm going to set the record straight. I don't know what's good for the kids. I don't know what they need to know. I'm just like, I don't have an issue with how I have small issues with how he parents them. He's very controlling of Capri. But my main issue is how he treats me. So I'm just like, you can go ahead and love your father. That's fine. How he treats me is inappropriate. And he wants to flip it on me and say that I am abusive, which is insane. I literally raised, like, I have most of my life documented on YouTube. Most of that time that I was parenting them. I'm like, do you think I could switch from, like, cooing at these babies to, like, abusing some? Like, are you kidding? Do you know abusive people? Like, I guess they can put on a front. Like, my mom could do that. Like, she could, like, but she was never, like, she was never sweet. And, maybe she was kind of nice with kids. Maybe that is true. Maybe you could be like that. Well, I don't know. I'm not like that. I wasn't like that. I asked him for permission for every dollar I spent. I never spent any money without consulting him about it, except for groceries. Like, everything was me checking if everything's okay. I did all the finances and the budgeting, and my life revolved around him. So to say I'm abusive in any way, I'm just like, what are you even talking? Like, how? Did I say I was unhappy and I wanted to leave the home and he said no and he was mad that I was ungrateful? Yeah. It's not abusive. I go back and forth on these. I'm like, I don't know what to do. There's nothing to do at the moment except I would like to get to a calm Zen place. But I'm also like, I don't want to be trampled. I don't want to get to this calm Zen place and go back into dissociation because I am like bottling it all up. I want to say the truth. And I'm like, this is the truth. That man destroyed my brain. He lied to me. He told me he did not know who called 911 when he knew it was my sister. He knew. And he lied. And he has admitted that he's lied. He's admitted it to me. He's admitted it to Brad. I don't know what else to do. I'm like, you shattered my brain. You told me you were afraid of my mother. You told me you didn't know who called 911, but you thought it was my mom. And then he's like, well, I shouldn't have lied. Like, it's not, like, you shattered my brain. Shattered it. And that's when I look back at dissociation and I'm just like, when I crashed that car, I was thinking nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. And then he had told me not to drink the water in our home, and I was like, he's trying to kill me. I thought he was trying to kill me because he was saying things that didn't make sense, and I was just like, I think he's gonna kill me, and I don't know why. Something doesn't feel right. It did not feel right. I thought that man was going to kill me. He destroyed my life. But my counselor's like, do you think he'd have the guts to kill you? And I was like, oh, maybe not. He didn't kill himself when he was suicidal, so I don't think he could kill someone else either. But it's still in my heart, and it's still up here. How do I balance letting go with telling the truth?
In his emails, he keeps saying how he's so upset that I keep making videos and, like, putting it on YouTube, which I used to do, which I stopped doing, because he wouldn't let the kids look at our YouTube videos. Because I had some videos on there talking about the past year. So I took all those down so the kids could watch it. I don't know if they do. I don't know if he lets them. But that's why I took them down. But now I'm just like, I'm still making the videos, but I'm not posting anything. I'm just so confused. What am I supposed to do? I want to let go, but I don't want to forget. I don't want my kids to think the wrong thing. I want them to know that how he treated me should be illegal if it's not illegal. And now that they would never... First of all, for them to never lie. And second of all, to never be in a marriage like that. He's an okay dad. I would say good, but the way he treats me, I'm like, you can't be a good dad if you treat your spouse that way. If you shatter someone's brain, if you lie like that. I have kept these tears perfectly balanced on my eyes so they don't ruin my mascara. That's kind of funny. Anyway, I don't want my kids to be in a situation like I wasn't. So I want to warn them, and I want to be like, your dad was fine, but as a dad, but he was not fine as a spouse. And what he did when he wanted out of the marriage was to shatter my brain. I want them to know that, so I'm just like, how do I can't do what he wants me to do, and like... What do I do? Do I tell them, or do I just be quiet and just say, I was sick? Which is what I have done. I've said, yeah, I was sick, my brain was sick. Do I just, like, wait? What do I do? What do I do? This is when I made my other videos, I was like, what am I going to tell my kids? I'm going to tell them I love them, blah, blah, blah. But when they have questions, what do I say? I don't know what to do. It's not like I can just go do a popular vote and take a poll. I can't just go ask people what I should do. I have to figure it out. I hope I don't mess that up. I have my counselor and I'm going to ask him on Monday. Monday's at noon. And I'm going to tell my kids, make sure you have a career before you get married. That you're established. Not just that you have a hope or a dream or something you think you're going to do, but you have an actual career. But it's not the career. That's not, like... I wanted to leave the home, and he said no. But if you're already leaving the home, then it can't stop you. I can't prevent them from the situation I got in. There's so many reasons someone could hurt you in a marriage, but I didn't see it coming until the end. January 2022, December 2021, that's when I asked to go back to school. The next 2 years have been hell. I'm trying to think if I was the kid, if it was my dad who did that. My dad beat me, but he wasn't like... He didn't do anything to my mom. She was more like mean to him, but I'm still just like... And he yelled too. But I wouldn't call it abuse, I'd call it normal fighting. I'm trying to think if I was the kid and it was my dad and my mom. I think I would just want to see my mom like be strong and bounce back and do it on her own after they got divorced and watch her be happy. And I think watching my mom be happy would be what I needed. I think I would need to see her just bounce back and be happy. Because I don't need to place blame. Like, my kids will learn, like... I'm not going to admit to anything that's not true. I'm not going to take blame for anything that's not true. And if they ask a question, I will likely respond right off the cuff, like I always do, and I will likely say something that will have him taking me back to court. But I think I don't need to push them to know anything. I think that they can just ask if they have questions and I'll answer. And I will just move forward. And I will bounce back. Well, I already have. Mostly, I think. And my emotions flow freely now, whereas before they were just completely hidden out of fear. Sadness and stress line. I think your face tells a story. I always think it's interesting to watch my videos and watch my face and see how I feel. You can see it. I think that's good for me. I think I figured some things out. I'm glad I got it out. I had to cry to get it out, and that's okay.